What if the Celtics' boldest move this summer is trading away a fan favorite for a no-name big man? At first glance, it feels small, maybe even irrelevant, but under the surface, this quiet trade proposal could be hiding a storm that's brewing. Inside the Boston Celtics front office, the Celtics, fresh off a championship, are facing a brutal reality. Their financial structure is on the edge of collapse. The team that dominated the league now stares down a salary cap minefield. And no, we're not talking about trimming around the edges, we're talking about sacrificing core depth to avoid a luxury tax bloodbath. The question is, who pays the price when the bill comes due? According to a newly floated trade concept from ESPN, Boston could be on the verge of a surprising pivot, not by dealing a star, but by letting go of one of its most beloved and reliable role players. The trade: Boston Celtics receive due-up wreath, Portland Trail Blazers receive Sam Hauser, Xavier Tillman, 2031 second-round pick. That's it. No big names, no headlines, no blockbuster feel. But look again, this move isn't about what Boston gets, it's about what Boston loses. Let's be clear, Hauser isn't just some rotational piece. He's one of the rare success stories, an undrafted player who became a sharpshooting machine under Joe Mazzulla's system. His gravity on the court changed spacing. His calm under pressure won games. He was the type of player every championship team needs but can never afford to keep. So why dump him now? Because he's too valuable, not on the court, but on the books. His $10 million salary is a perfect clean cut to dodge the tax hammer. Boston's front office isn't just trying to save money, they are trying to reshape the future of this roster without breaking the present. But here's the twist: in return, the Celtics land due-up wreath, a name that probably won't spark excitement in Boston bars yet. Who is due-up wreath, and why should you care? Buried on Portland's bench, Wreath hasn't had the spotlight. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have game-in limited minutes. Wreath has flash touch, versatility, and surprisingly good range for a center. During the 2023-24 season, he averaged 9.1 points, 3.7 rebounds, and shot just over 32% from deep. On paper, he's a stretch five who can give Boston something they don't currently have: a mobile big who spaces the floor and doesn't need touches to contribute. He's not Kristraps Porzingis. He's not Al Horford. But maybe that's the point. While those names are aging or injury-prone, Wreath represents something Boston desperately needs: cost-controlled upside. A deeper concern: is this the beginning of a quiet teardown? This trade might look like a minor cap move, but it opens a bigger, more uncomfortable question: is this just the first domino to fall? If Boston is already cutting contributors like Hauser to save money, who's next? Could this be the early signal that the Celtics are preparing for a future without Horford? Is Tillman's exit a sign that the team isn't confident in him as a long-term defensive anchor? And more provocatively, is Brad Stevens quietly dismantling the bench to preserve the big contracts up top? Even if it means gambling away the team's depth advantage, some will argue that this is smart cap management, that this is how you survive the new CBA and stay competitive year after year. But others might look at the loss of Hauser, and potentially others, as a dangerous unraveling of the team's identity. This isn't a flashy deal. There's no all-star switching jerseys, no first-round picks being thrown around. But in terms of long-term implications, this could be the most revealing move of Boston's offseason. They did what with Jrue Holiday? That was the collective reaction across the NBA when the news broke, not just because the Celtics traded away one of their most reliable playoff warriors, but because of when, how, and why it happened. While fans were still processing the chaos of the Kevin Durant to Houston megadeal, Boston dropped a midnight bombshell of their own. Jrue Holiday, the defensive backbone of their title run, was gone. And what did they get in return? Anthony Simons. A couple of second-round picks, and, maybe most importantly, a financial lifeline. But is that really all there is to it? Or is there something deeper, more uncomfortable, hiding beneath the surface of this trade? Let's break down what really happened and why this move might be one of the most misunderstood deals in recent Celtics history. At face value, this looks like a smart move. The Celtics were financially drowning. Between Jaylen Brown's record deal, Tatum's upcoming supermax, Porzingis, White, Horford, the books were suffocating under nearly $500 million in commitments. But what forced Boston's hand wasn't just money, it was the Achilles tear that ended Jason Tatum's 2025 season before it began. Suddenly, the Celtics weren't contenders. They were a capped-out giant with no path forward and no draft picks to help retool. Keeping Jrue Holiday, a 35-year-old, on a $134 million contract no longer made sense. But here's the twist: everyone in the league knew it. Boston had no leverage. They were bleeding value. So how did Brad Stevens not only shed Jrue's massive deal but walk away with a 26-year-old elite shooter and future picks? Because this trade wasn't about basketball. It was about survival. Let's be brutally honest, you don't trade Jrue Holiday unless you're preparing for a transitional season. This wasn't just a cap move, it was the Celtics admitting, out loud, that 2025 is not a championship year, and once you admit that, every move must be viewed through a new lens. Anthony Simons is the perfect temporary bridge. He scores in bunches, he hits threes, he's cheap, relatively speaking, and most crucially, he's not a long-term commitment. If he clicks, great. If not, Boston clears him off the books after a year. But there's more to this than clean salary sheets. Simons isn't just another role player, he's the kind of guy who needs touches, who needs the ball. That's a dramatic stylistic shift from the ball-sharing Celtics offense built around Holiday's selflessness. So the question becomes, are the Celtics prepared to live with Simons' defensive liabilities and scoring-first mindset in a system that thrived on sacrifice? At first glance, the Blazers look like they made a panic move, trading a 26-year-old elite scorer for a 35-year-old defensive guard on an expensive contract and throwing in picks to do it. But if you squint a little harder, this might be one of the boldest culture plays we've seen in recent years. Portland had no identity. Simons, sharp, scoot, all offense, no structure. Holiday brings instant integrity to the locker room. He brings championships, discipline, accountability, leadership, and defense, which this young team desperately lacked. Last season, after the All-Star break, Portland quietly ranked top 10 in defense, a wild stat for a team many had written off. Pair Holiday with Avdija, Camara, and Klingon, and suddenly you have a gritty, switchable defensive core. What started as a quiet offseason has suddenly erupted into something far more dangerous for Boston fans, the growing possibility that one of the Celtics' most unique weapons could be wearing purple and gold by the start of next season. This isn't just a trade rumor. This is a seismic shift waiting to happen, because if Porzingis, the 7 feet 3 inches unicorn who helped Boston unlock the modern two-big system, ends up in Los Angeles, it wouldn't just change the power dynamics of the Western Conference. It would be a stab in the heart for Celtics fans and a shocking move that might signal the beginning of a full philosophical shift in Boston's roster-building approach. But here's the part no one's talking about: why is this even being considered in the first place, and why are the Lakers of all teams, Boston's historic nemesis, the ones circling like vultures? According to Clutch Point's Brett Ziegel, the Lakers are already in discussions with the Celtics about a possible Porzingis deal. Not just monitoring, not just interested, talking, engaging, making calls. And Boston, they are not exactly shutting the door. That alone should terrify Celtics fans. Porzingis isn't just any center. He was the keystone to Joe Mazzulla's 5-out offense, anchoring a defense without needing to live in the paint and providing elite spacing offensively. When healthy, he was nearly unguardable, a shot-blocking floor stretcher who gave Boston the edge it lacked in years past. But that's the problem, isn't it? He's rarely healthy. Porzingis has missed 65 regular season games in 2 years with Boston. And worse, he wasn't available when it counted most. In both postseason runs, he was either out or severely limited. When you're paying a guy over $30 million a year, that becomes a massive liability. No matter how talented he is, the Celtics are staring at a brutal salary cap future. Jrue Holiday is already gone. Al Horford is aging. Tatum's supermax kicks in soon. Jaylen Brown's historic deal is on the books. And now they are asking, can we really afford to roll the dice again on Porzingis' fragile frame? That's where the Lakers come in with a risky but tempting offer. Let's be honest, Los Angeles is desperate. They flamed out early in the playoffs. Their roster is unbalanced. And Anthony Davis, for all his defensive brilliance, isn't a true center and doesn't want to play like one. Enter Porzingis. Imagine a world where LeBron, AD, and KP share the court. You get elite rim protection, floor spacing, and the kind of offensive versatility that the Lakers haven't had since the bubble title run. In theory, Porzingis is exactly what they need, a low-usage, high-efficiency big who complements their two stars perfectly if he stays upright. That's the catch. And the Lakers know it. That's why they are trying to get him without surrendering a first-round pick. The rumored packages include Rui Hachimura and salary filler like Gabe Vincent or Jared Vanderbilt, a modest price for someone who, on his best days, looks like a borderline all-star. And here's the spicy subplot: this deal wouldn't just impact Boston or LA, it could reunite Porzingis with Luka Doncic, his old Dallas running mate, if the Mavs swoop in as a third team or pursue him down the line. The echoes of that failed partnership only deepen the intrigue. Could they make it work a second time around?